So the real trick is when you've got quads and then you want to start adding more detail or resolution to them. So let's just say, for instance, this is like a chest or something, anything we just want to add an edge loop to describe a surface. So I'm just going to go into multi-cut here, and let's say we're going to start here, and we have a cut that's just going to come across, and then maybe it's going to come back this way. Okay, now with cuts, here's my whole philosophy, how I work with box modeling and edge loops. What I first do is try to keep things relatively straight, and I block out a form so I have volume to work with. And then I just go in and add my cuts, and I'm not worrying about where I add them. I'm just going to add my cuts where I want them. Say for instance, I didn't want it right here. Just come back around, and I'm going to put it exactly where I want. And for me, that's the whole key. I put my edges in exactly where I want, and I don't worry about what impact this cut is going to have on anything that's existing. So cue to get out of that. And the reason being is because I'm going to just wind up deleting and collapsing just about everything. So if this is where I wanted my edge to be, let's just say we want it maybe even a little more rounded. So let's select vertices. So these are selection tools: vertice, face, object, edge loop. Edge loop, that's kind of redundant because you can just double click on it. Edge ring, object. Then there's also multi-component, so you can select faces, edge verts, whatever you want to do. There's also tweak mode. This is actually a good time to use that. So with tweak mode, if I hit the 1 key, not 1, I meant W, I'm sorry. So tweak mode allows you to get in here and just move something without selecting it first. Okay, in tweak mode, it can be found if we double click on our move tool settings. I've got tweak mode enabled. Okay, and so what this button does, it just turns that tweak mode off and on. And what I'll often need to do with tweak mode is click on manipulate toggle. So on my toolbar, to get this tweak manipulate to work in, is again, I'll turn on tweak, and I can just take an element and just click on it and move it, as opposed to right-clicking, on a vertex or whatever, selecting it and then moving it. Find tweak really handy, which is why I've got it here. Now again, sometimes things, it might kind of behave a little weird sometimes. Like you might start moving something and it's just not quite working the way you would think it should. Then I've got this manip toggle. If you notice up here, that's going to change between component and world coordinates. So these two, that's why I got them right next to each other. Go back and forth on them all the time. Okay, so back to cleaning up our mess here. Multi-component, and tweak. At this point, what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to get that, kind of straighten this stuff back up again. I'm going to get this edge going just exactly the way I would like it. So I've got this round surface I'm looking to cut in here. So now at this point, it's just a matter of cleaning up the edges and making things quads. So let me start here. Delete, whoops, actually what I would have done there is do collapse. Okay, and collapse is this one here. And this probably, whoops, still in tweak mode, let's get out of it. Probably delete those. Again, it's not delete with the keyboard, it's delete with the delete command. So I can delete edges with the keyboard, delete, but you'll wind up leaving extra verts. So if I undo that, select Q to get out of the move. And if I use delete that I showed you earlier, then it's not going to leave the mess of the vertices. Okay, so let's make this thing into quads. Okay, so new multi-cut here. Let's cut this one over like that. Take this one and cut it like that, and that one. Then I could delete this one, so that is technically a quad, but I don't want it to be a concave quad. I think it's going to work out a lot better to be a more of a convex quad. Okay, this one here, we can just get rid of that edge. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are all quads right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, 4 here, and 4 there, 4 there. So that was pretty easy. Again, probably want to keep these on the convex side, because if they're concave, like this one here, if you got a polygon that's concave like that, it's not going to render correctly. So let's try clicking down here. We could collapse this. Look at that part. So now those are quads. That's quads. And then for this, I'm not going to worry so much. I think you're going to get the idea of what you could do. So maybe cut that over there. Q. And of course, then I made another triangle there. So, and the way to fix that would be something like that. Okay, so I wanted something like that. And these aren't perfect because, you know, I'm not a big fan of these sorts of quads where they're not all straight, but that's maybe a way to resolve them. And then if we were going to then maybe take this and maybe this was gonna be a muscle or something. Okay. So I need to take this and move it back because that was part of the form what I was using. Okay, so again, let's two further along. I'm just going to take these and try to make the resolution a little unified. Again, I don't like these convex triangles, but sometimes you gotta do it just a little bit. And we'll say we wanted this to be some sort of a form that we were going to extrude out. So then we could hit extrude. So maybe pull it up a little bit and then scale it in. Pull it up. So then that could wind up being, some sort of a raised form, like a muscle or something along those lines. So that's sort of the idea with ways to get things in quads to resolve n-gons. There are also poles, and that's where you have more than one edge, or rather more than four edges converging to a single point. I try to avoid those as much as I can, where you got more than four edges at a single point. But what I did here would kind of, make all this valid. So for what it's worth, that's kind of the idea. That's how you cut things up. Okay, a little more on the rest of the toolbar that I've got here. So, again, if I want to tweak, so I could come down to multi-component and hit tweak mode. So now I can just move things around, and I can move them without selecting them first, without drawing a box around them and then moving them. Well, this is really handy when you're just trying to shape things. Really handy. Another thing that's really handy with the Move Component tool, and I should really clarify, the Move Component is the same thing as this Transform. That's right there. Well, with Move Component, what's really cool is anytime you select an element, it's going to move it along its normal. So Move Component's really powerful. I think I talked about that last week in class. Edge Move is a really good one. So let's say that I wanted to take this edge and this vert, and I wanted to move it along that edge. So if I click on Edge Move, then I select the edge that I want to move it on. I've got to make sure that I'm out of tweak. Then what it does is it aligns your axis right along that edge. Here's another example. Say I want to move along that edge. So I'm not in tweak mode anymore. If I say Edge Move, select the edge, and then I can move that vert on that edge. And this is all stuff that's available up here in the tool settings. I've just made it so it's a little more handy. Once you've done this, edge moving stuff, hit G, that'll repeat the last command. Once you've been moving things along their edges, you're going to wind up with manipulator handles kind of skewed. And so again, this manip toggle is going to toggle back and forth between local and global coordinates. I also didn't talk about edge slide. So if I grab a series of edges, it's Q to get out of the move mode. So edge slide, or slide edge actually. Then with the middle mouse button, you can drag a whole edge. So really handy stuff. Instrument. Yeah, so those are really the tools. I use these tools 90% of the time, 95%, and anything else I need, I just go up to the menus. So that's kind of my methodology of cutting and cutting and collapsing and fixing non-quad geometry. Something else I should also note though is when I'm doing cutting in shapes, and again, I'm not worried about what I've got here because none of these edges are sacred, and I'm probably going to wind up, I'm going to wind up cutting and recutting. But when I want a curve, I want an edge or something, I just put it in, and that's really the whole key. You're the modeler, you're the one that's making your forms, and it's really up to you, not the computer, where you want your forms to go. So say for example I wanted this form here, and so I put in an edge that's going to define a boundary, and then this edge I'm going to lift up kind of similar to that. So Q, come in, grab faces. And I could grab all of these and lift them up, and so that is defined like some musculature detail. And then I really don't worry about this stuff like I did here. I don't worry about any of this stuff until towards the end of the modeling process, because this is really just working out. It's just like a puzzle, figuring out how to make quads. The last thing you want to do is be all worried about these perfect quads while you're in the kind of shaping and discovery phase of your model. So I get this kind of stuff done first, and then go in and fix things so that they, so your quads and you're fixing up poles and things like that. So that's really kind of the process. I hope that's helpful. Look forward to see what you do wrapping up your models. And look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Take care.